the drama that happened about 2 hours before the draft, and Aaron Rodgers, the reigning MVP, name is thrown out all over the place there. Tell me something. Is the fact that he didn't move before the draft happened, and I know we're not done with the draft, but the first round is a huge part of this, does he have to be with another team before the draft is over, or he's expected to be a Green Bay Packer next year?
I think, I know Brian Gutekunst pretty well, and they're adamant, and they are keeping him there. He is that organization. You and I both know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, what he is for that organization, it is big. It is huge in so many ways. It was so good for Coach LaFleur when he came in, and I knew him from being here in Atlanta. Good football coach, of course. It's a great spot to be stepping in as a young GM and a young head coach to having a quarterback like that. It's imperative that they get things right there. As you know, there's money involved here. There's a lot to it, I'm sure. I think there's more and more talk about that, though. Some of these big-time players don't like, in the very end, that they're anchored into these organizations. As much as they love them, look, we see what Tom Brady did. That's unbelievable that he would ever have left. I thought he was going to the West Coast, but, of course, he stayed on the east side of the world and ended up, winning in our division, at least what used to be my division here. So, I think he ends up staying there. They just have to work through this big contract. Hopefully it's not too dusty right now to make it uncomfortable.
We're talking with Thomas Dimitroff, former Falcons general manager, two-time NFL executive of the year. Is it managed? I mean, we haven't heard Aaron Rodgers say anything, essentially. This is all back channel stuff we hear from NFL insiders, but he is going to the Kentucky Derby this weekend, and there's going to be a microphone that's thrown in front of his face. He's been so good with how he's handled the media through everything he said, but can he make this thing even more problematic with just a few words out of his mouth that complicate the situation more?
Yeah, I'm sure he could. Ryan, like you and I both know, obviously he's a very intelligent guy and very articulate, and he could choose his words however he wants, right. and it could. But the reality is it's out there now. I keep coming back to the idea, and I'm dealing with it from a different level now, obviously, with all the rumors about Julio Jones, which is probably a segue into another prime, first ballot Hall of Fame, and I say that respectfully to the process. And, the talk about him moving from this team is, had me on my heels when I first heard it, Ryan. We sunk a lot of money into him, and Matt Ryan, of course. They were two people that we were planning on signing for the rest of their NFL careers. And now it's one of the reasons, as you know, that would lead to a cap situation that becomes tight in an organization like Atlanta when you invest that much money in people. But, here is Julio right now and all this information out there. He has not spoken about it. Once those players start speaking about it, it does become more complicated.
If you're a put on your general manager hat again and talk about those two situations. You are managing a team. You have to be a capologist, of course, and understand in this year the cap has gone down where normally you have to be expecting the cap to go up because of the TV revenue. You're in a situation with Julio Jones, and you have to figure out a way to pay your players in this team to make it the best possible team you can. Same with the Green Bay Packers. It's a giant cap hit with Aaron Rodgers if you look to trade him and everything like that. How, as a general manager, do you smooth over these situations and have those players on your team moving forward in a smooth transition?
Well, I mean, first of all, you have to step back as a general manager and really sit down with your financial people and your cap person, and you really need to, get up on the board and get really creative with how you're going to put it all together. This is an anomalous year, obviously coming off of COVID and the decrease in what was expected to be a considerably higher salary cap. That said, we were never in our particular situation there in Atlanta. We were very aware of what was about to come, and most teams were. So every team was. So it wasn't like it was a mystery. So in a situation like that, my personal feeling has always been, and I believe in pillar players. So pay your pillar players. That's alliteration, I guess. But so you pay them. You know they're going to be high. And when you are, Ryan, paying market value for your top-notch players on your team, and you're in a situation where you no longer have a rookie quarterback, and you have, again, one of the best receivers to have played this position, making $22 million a year, along with Matt Ryan making $30 million a year, along with a handful of other guys who are making legitimate money. You know, Alex Mack was part of that group. He left recently. That's a lot of money, and you have to decide as a general manager, do you want to move some of these players, be creative, move some of the bottom 10 that you're paying? You have to really look at that and see where you're going to come up with the money, because you're more than likely not moving on from, of course, a Matt Ryan and a Julio Jones, who have a ton of dead money attached to them. Again, that's how we set it up. We were not planning on moving them. It becomes very complicated when you have dead money attached.
Yeah, your relationship with Ryan Gutekunst up in Green Bay. So, crystal ball it for me. Is Aaron Rodgers the quarterback under center for the Packers next season when Week 1 opens?
I can't imagine he wouldn't be. I can't imagine they don't look deep into that and figure it out. Again, you know this. You've been around it. You know the agents are very important in this, the management, the ownership group. That's a different ownership group there. It all has to be mapped out. It all has to be, strategically thought out and well thought out to get the deal done. And you have to continue to show love. And on both sides, I think it's got to be mutual. It's got to be win-win, Ryan.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.